You probably missed it between the political chaos and the latest economic headlines. But deep in the military news cycle, a quiet announcement dropped yesterday that tells us everything about how the system works and how it sometimes breaks. The commander of the USS Mason, a guided missile destroyer with a storied history, was fired, removed, relieved for what the Navy calls loss of confidence in his ability to command. That is the official language. Clean, sterile, professional. Captain Chavius G took command of that ship in November 2024. He had deployed to the Persian Gulf and the Mediterranean. He had led crews before, by every measurable standard. He was exactly the kind of officer you want leading a billion-dollar warship with hundreds of sailors under his watch. And now he has gone from that bridge, reassigned to a desk job in Florida, while Captain Kevin Hoffman steps in to finish what Lewis started. Here is what the Navy will tell you. They hold leaders to the highest standards. When those standards are not met, they act. The mission continues. The ship is fine. The crew adapts. And all of that is technically true. But here is what they will not tell you. What does loss of confidence actually mean? It is a phrase designed to say everything while revealing nothing. It covers the spectrum from falling asleep on watch to inappropriate relationships to simply losing the trust of the crew. It could be one bad decision. It could be 1,000 small ones. It could be something that would never make a headline, but makes commanding a warship impossible. The Navy knows exactly what happened. Rear Admiral Alexis T, the woman who fired Lewis, knows the specific reasons. The officers who will review his file know, but the public, the families of those sailors, the people whose tax dollars funded that ship, we get 4 words: loss of confidence. This is not about demanding gossip. This is about understanding how accountability works at the highest levels. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. When a commander falls, the crew feels immediately. The commanding officer sets the tone for everything. Training standards, discipline, morale, trust. When that person vanishes overnight and a new face appears in their place, the rhythm breaks. Sailors talk. They speculate. They wonder if the guy next to them is next. They ask questions that will never be answered. And meanwhile, the USS Mason continues its training exercise in the Atlantic, preparing for deployment with a new captain learning names and systems on the fly. The Navy says there is no impact to operations. And maybe that is true at the macro level. Ships sail. Missions continue. The machine keeps running. But inside that machine are human beings. And human beings do not bounce back from leadership changes without a cost. Captain Lewis now sits at Naval Surface Group Southeast, waiting to see if his career has a future. Captain Hoffman stands on a bridge that was supposed to be someone else's, carrying a weight he did not ask for. And 300 sailors go to work every day wondering if the man leading them will still be there tomorrow. So here's a question worth asking. When we hide behind phrases like loss of confidence, who are we really protecting? The system, the officer, or the institution that does not want us to see how fragile leadership actually is? I am not saying we need every detail. Privacy matters. Due process matters. But when a warship changes commanders in the middle of the ocean, the people who sail on it deserve more than a press release. And maybe, just maybe, the rest of us deserve to know whether the system is working or just covering its tracks. The USS Mason will be fine. The Navy will move on. Captain Lewis will either rebuild or fade away. But the next time you hear those words, loss of confidence, remember this. Somewhere on that ship, a sailor just lost confidence too. In the process, in the secrecy, in the silence that follows a firing with no explanation. And that is a loss no press release can fix.